Hey all, my name is Kurt. I'm here with Trenton. Welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. And Trenton, I get a ton of questions and I have to think in my head, you get way more than I do concerning limited release bourbons that come out every year because you, my friend, as far as I'm concerned, are the guru of limited release bourbons.
That's quite the title.
Not scotch or anything else.
No, absolutely not. No.
Bourbons.
No. Well, first off, I want to say thanks for having me back. You know, it feels great to be back again and be allowed to be on the show after the last video.
It was an iffy decision. You know, I had to weigh it heavily on my mind, and I had to release a lot of pent-up anger.
Is that what the hole is in the wall in there?
Maybe.
Well, I get a decent amount of questions about allocated things, whether to get them, if this is a good price, if you know, if this is worth getting this year, because there's so many of them to look out for. And it's hard to, if you had the opportunity to buy them all, because they're getting quite expensive. And B, to even find them is incredibly difficult, or how to cultivate the relationships with folks to be able to have the option to purchase them. So so
what I did, Trenton, is I kind of put it out to you and to myself, and between the two of us, we picked 10. You know, 10 separate bottles, distilleries per se, that when these limited releases come out, we do not miss them.
Correct.
We don't. We get them because 99% of the time they're excellent. There's a few that we don't get anymore, especially me. And I won't name those now. That's another show. But there's a few that just are too iffy, and are they good or not? Is it going to waste, you know, how much money are you going to spend on these things? But if these come up anywhere, we get them. One caveat, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is not on the list, but that's one that I would get. I just thought about that. That's one I would get every time, because 99% of the time they're excellent, and for 70, 80 bucks, whatever they are now, they're usually a good buy.
Well, before we kind of get into the list, we have a live stream on Friday. And unfortunately, our first and highest ranked plan fell through. So now we got to fall back to me, unfortunately. You know, that's not what anybody wants. So what we're going to do, we usually have a distillery theme for each live stream, like we're going to blind Jack Daniels or we're going to blind Michter's or something like that. But we decided, well, I decided actually, is that what we're going to do this time is that Kurt and Ken are going to get up here, and I'm going to pick 5 good bottles that they have never tasted before.
And I stressed to him, good.
They'll be good. I think. I hope. They will be good.
And I'm surprised. I don't know if Kent nor I has never had any of these. That ought to be very interesting.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna throw them for a loop. I already have ideas in my head. I've been prepping for this day.
The mad scientist. He loves this stuff.
I do. It's a good time.
He loves it.
So if you want to check that out this Friday, 8 p.m. Central.
Be there. It's always fun.
Be there or be square.
It's always a fun time. My very first one, Trent, I'm going to start out with, and none of this is in any order. This isn't top 10, 10 to 1. It's just a few things that we look for. And some of this is going to surprise you greatly, and especially with my first choice, Still Austin. Still Austin. Some of the stuff that they come out with as far as their limited releases are concerned is absolutely wonderful. This cognac finish, cast strength was great. This one here, Trenton, this one here, straight oated bourbon, 109 proof. Unbelievable. One of the best whiskeys that I've had all year this year.
This is probably going to make
very
a list,
unique.
If I had to guess.
Oh, it was great. I'm having a hard time, Trent. Look at that. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah. One thing, though, I will say this. The only reason we were able to acquire these, because these, I believe, were distillery-only releases, except the Red Corn, which was a national release, which also really
very good. That's what I'm saying. Most everything they had that are relatively a limited release, no matter where you pick them up at, is going to be a good buy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good buy.
Without the good folks on Patreon and some friends of ours, they were able to head to the distillery and snag these for us. But just incredible stuff.
All right, what you got, buddy?
Well, I'm going to go with, what do I want to do here? You got the tall bottle. I'll go with the tall bottle. One distillery that we don't talk about
enough
much is Redwood Empire. This is the bottled and bond, the Grizzly Beast, and then we did review this. It was the Redwood Empire cast strength. Specifically, this is the Emerald Giant. I think this entire lineup was incredible.
Fantastic.
The Bottled and Bond, the Grizzly Beast, and the Rocket Top, the rye. I have the rye at home.
Yep.
Also very good. 70 or 80 bucks, I think. And if you can, I don't know if they're doing these anymore, but I have a Redwood Empire 14-year Cabernet Sauvignon. Yeah, that. I have a Cabernet finish from Redwood Empire. It's a 14-year-old.
I had a little sip of that.
Delicious. I've been nursing that thing for a while. I don't know if they do those picks anymore, but if you find those, pick those up. Or anything from Redwood Empire. Yeah. Pretty good.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
I had to include my favorite distillery, Wild Turkey. And what I will say about that, I feel their best limited release of the year is the Russell's 13 bottle. That's just what I feel about it.
The Voyage do.
You know, I love the Master's Keep stuff, and I'll tell you what we're going to do really quick. You know, after we get done with the blind this coming Friday on the live stream, I let that sit. I let it open up.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people asked me that in the comments. I did let that bottle open up for about an hour or so before we tasted it.
Yep.
And, you know, Trent and I, neither one were that much of a fan. It just wasn't that great to us. But we had comments for those that liked it, and I appreciate that. And I'm very happy that you did. But I'm going to break this out for Kent to try. You know, once we get through the blind, just to kind of see, did it open up better? What does he think about it? Yeah. I'd love to get his opinion. But for me, even past the Master's Keep, because there's several in there, Trenton, that I would not choose over Russell's 13. I think this bottle in general from Wild Turkey, when it comes out, if you see it somewhere, it is delicious.
Yeah.
It's really, really good stuff. And if you can't find them every year, every batch and all that stuff, if you just get one.
I think they're up to 5 batches now.
And you have one, you know, it's just, you won't be disappointed with that one from Wild Turkey.
Yeah. Well, I'll go with a little squatter bottle too here. We're going to go with Stag Junior, of course. Stag Junior. I mean, these aren't centered. What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I can't, you know, I can't see that little thing in there.
I have yet to, with the exception of Jay's single barrel from Binny's, the Stag Junior. I have not had a bad bottle of Stag Junior.
No.
Of course, allocated, they release 2 a year. Now the numbering is like 22 A and B and 23 A and B.
It's limited. It's limited release stuff, Buffalo Trace.
But for the value, I think these might still be 60 or 70. I haven't been able to purchase one in quite a while because they're tough to find.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
But if you do, you're not going to be. If you see it on the shelf and it's $100 or around that, and I know folks say, listen, let's not get in that conversation here, right? I know some store owners are going to jack that thing up to $300. Don't buy it. Don't purchase it. Let it sit on the shelf. You know, that's ridiculous. You know, a lot of folks say, well, I can't believe you guys get these for this price in my area, the $300. No, that's not true. It's going to differ a little bit because taxes are a lot of things involved. But no, if you see one for $300, it's the store owner that wants to jack it up that high and put, for whatever reasons they have, to put it that high.
We also have stores in our area that do that. We see Pappy's for $1,500, William LaRue Weller's for $2,000, like that kind of thing, and we just steer clear of those stores, and we suggest that you do too, because it's an unfortunate thing.
So if you see this thing for around $100, I promise you, no matter what batch it is, you're going to enjoy it. Yep. That's for sure. The next one I have is Trenton is the Four Roses, and I put this in for me. I know this one isn't 100% up your alley.
I get those for you.
But did you say this was around 100 a quarter?
I think
something like that.
120. I think 150.
Anyways.
Maybe.
Well worth that price tag. Their limited release comes out once a year, right, Trenton?
Around the fall.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, for me personally, I milk it as long as I can. I enjoy that greatly. I love those releases. I look forward to them every single year. If you see one when you're out hunting and doing your thing, to me, it's well worth the money.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go. You're going with a lot of really allocated things that people are having a hard time finding. I'm gonna level with you guys because I'm just that kind of guy. I'm gonna go with New Riffs. New Riffs limited releases. One thing that I would urge you to do if you're a big fan of Rise or New Riff in general, they actually have a newsletter. They'll release distillery releases to the newsletter. It's either 2 or 4 times a year. So the last one they did like a Malster, which is a malted rye, or like a crystal malt was the most recent one.
Okay.
And then they did an Aristook rye.
Wow.
When we did a pick at New Riff last time, we got to try it.
We got to try it. Yeah.
I almost fell out of my seat. It was delicious, and not because I had a lot to drink, but it was just really good.
It was good.
The Balboa rye, malted 6-year rye, and then there's something called High Note. I actually was able to purchase one. I guess they're distillery only releases, and they're in Newport, Kentucky. It's a high note, but the high note that was this year's release was Balboa Rye Single Barrel. So it was this, but 116 proof. Just
Man, wow.
I wanted to brush my teeth with it, and it would be acceptable.
I don't think I've tried that yet.
Yeah,
You have to bring a little bit over.
But they have a ton of different stuff: yellow lemming, red turkey wheat. They really experiment with a lot of different grains, and I think it's really cool.
And it's very unique. All their limited releases, Trenton, are very unique from each other. They're not similar.
And
wonderful stuff.
Best part too, $60 to $80. You're not getting into the hundreds. The only thing is that they're distillery on the releases. But with their newsletter, if you sign up, you have 30 or 60 days to go to the distillery and pick it up after you purchase it. So you have some leeway there too.
Yeah,
really good.
It's really something to look into. That's for sure. My next one, Trenton, is going to be 2 for 1. Bomburgers and Shanks. If you see any of those laying around anywhere, I've never been disappointed in either one of those 2 bottles.
I haven't either.
Honestly, both of them have been extremely solid, and I'm hoping they're still around $100.
I think so.
Something
100,
like that.
maybe 120. I saw them go for 115.
Okay. I personally don't buy them every year. Do you buy them?
If I can find them, I do.
Yeah, I know you do. So I mean, I've kept these for a year or 2, but I really like them, and I've had Kent's. Kent's has his. Everyone I've ever tasted has been delicious.
For those that aren't familiar, the Bomburgers and Shanks is out of Michter's.
Yep.
It's a label of Michter's.
Correct.
I don't know if you said that or not.
I did not. I did not.
Ironically, maybe not ironically, but surprisingly, the Shanks is like 90.4 proof, and that's been my favorite year after year.
Yeah.
And the Bomburgers is usually 108.
Right. It's not super high proof stuff. That's why it's right up my alley. I mean, this stuff is luscious. It's really, really good stuff.
Great sippers, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had to go with this one.
Of course.
Sagamore Spirits.
Yep.
Any 8-year or limited release that I've had from Sagamore, apart from the rum finish, has been spectacular. I pick them up anytime I can see it. The port, the sherry, the 8-year, the bottled and bond, whatever.
Very good.
I've heard that they were coming out with a maple syrup finish, but it was limited to like 3 states. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get one, but I'm never disappointed with Sagamore stuff. And their pricing is usually pretty good, usually $80 or less.
Yep.
I haven't seen any of their allocated or limited releases in a couple months.
Fantastic.
But when you can see them, absolutely buy them. If you're a rye fan. If not, it'll change you into a rye fan.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Trent, my last one. As for now, and anything could change, but I'll tell you what, over the last year or 2, any limited release coming out of Jack Daniels is going to be okay by me. It's all been really, really interesting, good stuff. I am somewhat surprised, but also deeply, deeply satisfied with, they're thinking outside the box in a lot of their releases. They've been creative in a lot of their releases. They've done a great job.
I gotta be honest, I was a little surprised to see the Coy Hill, considering it's like the flaming hot Cheetos of the bourbon world.
Yeah, it's just something I had on the shelf over there.
Yeah, you weren't the biggest fan of the Coy Hill only because of the proof point.
Flavor profile is fantastic.
It is.
The truth of the matter is, if I have a small pour of this, it's over a block of ice, and that's for me. And I've got guys down here, and they came down here at the bar and everything. Oh, you're an idiot. I drink that neat. Good for you. Yeah, that's great.
It's how you like it.
I just don't. But the flavor profile on that is delicious.
Yeah, I keg stand kegs of that stuff at home.
Okay.
My last one. Also, I think this made several lists of ours last year. Widow Jane Decadence, is that in the front? Widow Jane Decadence. This Widow Jane was acquired by Heaven Hill, I think it was earlier this year. And from what I understand is that the Widow Jane Decadence is going to become an annual type of release cycle. I don't know if they have the batch. This is batch 3. Mm-hmm. I've heard that batch 4 is going to be coming out this fall, and it'll kind of be an annual thing.
Yeah, even to this point, there's a lot of people that's mimicked the maple syrup finish, the barrel finish, but up to this point, Widow Jane Decadence is the best I've had.
Yeah, it is the creme
on any level.
Creme de crop or creme de la creme of the maple syrup finish.
For me, it has been, yes.
So
the best of the best.
Nice lineup.
Yeah, and there's some things that'll probably surprise you on this list, but again, we get a lot of these questions. I'd like to see in the comments what are some of those that you would absolutely put in this list? The ones if you got lucky, if you went in the right time, the right place, and the store owners were decent and gave a good price on it, and which are the bottles that you wouldn't pass picking up?
Yeah.
Because there's several I just wouldn't anymore.
And we'll talk about that in the next video.
In some videos,
Similar
sure.
format, but ones
sure.
that we're kind of gonna not look at so much until we maybe hear some reviews on it first or things like that. So
we are, huh? Okay.
I thought that was a plan.
I guess it is now. Here we
I
go.
put it out there.
Here we go. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you have a great day and a great week. Thanks so much for watching. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. And we'll see you next time right down here with Trent and I in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.